It's been all over the news. Sadly, an illness has been cropping up around the country affecting our lovable four-legged friends. Now, there have been a lot of questions surrounding this infectious respiratory disease, but there's one thing for sure. It's highly contagious, and this has put a lot of kennels, doggy daycares, and other pet services in a bit of a jam, having to ramp up all of their hygiene protocols and causing some to even miss out on a little bit of business. So with us today to help shed some light on these concerns is Dr. Elizabeth Bruce. She is a veterinarian. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you.
It has been a while since we've seen you. Can you give us a little update on what you've been up to?
Well, long since before COVID, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Pretty much same thing, working.
Yeah.
I've cut back a little hours, but I'm getting to do a lot of the stuff that I love, like playing with my own dogs, having time for them.
And I forgot to introduce them. Who do we have here?
This is Linus.
Hi, Linus.
He's a baby. And Lydia, of course, who's an old pro on this show.
Oh, yes. We've had Lydia on before.
Yeah.
So tell us about this canine respiratory disease. What do you know about it?
In the past, we've called it kennel cough, and everybody wants to call it kennel cough. And I think when people are referring to, it's an organism called Bordetella, but actually kennel cough is actually called canine infectious respiratory disease, and it's actually caused by many factors. A number of viruses, bacteria are considered part of it, as well as stress. I've been in a kennel for a week barking. I mean, it's really multifactorial. Yeah.
Now, it's highly contagious, right?
It is highly contagious. There's bacteria, strep bacteria, which can be really contagious, and it's spread the same way that, say, COVID or our colds are spread, by coughing, sneezing, sharing water bowls, nose-to-nose contact, the usual. So you can imagine if you've got dogs in close proximity, either through kennels or shows or dog parks, daycares, etc., they're going to spread it to each other pretty quickly.
Now, if your dog is vaccinated for Bordetella, kennel cough, and all those other things, are they immune from this, or can this break through that?
Typically, just like any vaccine, there'll be some breakthrough, but the dogs are going to be less symptomatic. There aren't vaccines for some of the bacteria like Mycoplasma and strep, so the thought is, of course, keeping your pets vaccinated will help ameliorate some of the symptoms.
And what are those symptoms?
Just like us, they have a cough. Some of the dogs are sneezing and have nasal discharge. And of course, the symptoms vary from mild, meaning, you know, they got a cough and they're eating and drinking and feeling fine, to not feeling well, being sick, and of course, maybe developing pneumonia.
If you see those symptoms, what should you do?
Well, first thing, if you have a dog that's coughing, you want to contact your veterinarian. In the past, I think we're a little lackadaisical about that, like, oh, it'll be fine. But, you know, it is possible that they could have a multi-strains. They might have a strep bacteria and a flu virus, so they're going to be sicker. And in days, they could potentially, you know, need hospitalization. So you do want to have your pets seen by the veterinarian. And I know a lot of people are anxious, oh, I don't want to go to the vet because my pet's going to get sick there. But we do things to prevent transmission of that.
So really the best way to protect them is vaccines, and then just kind of keep them away from other dogs. And
yeah, I wouldn't tell anyone, don't go on your trip and board your dog, but make sure you talk to the kennel. Make sure that you bring your own food. Make sure if your dog is super stressed, that might not be an added thing that's good for them. So if your pet has some underlying illness, then boarding might not be, you know, great. One thing to mention is I don't think that a lot of people are afraid this is some new terrible virus or organism, and I actually think it's the same organisms that we've had before, but they are just, more of us are taking our dogs places and doing things with them, and they're just exposed more.
All right. Good things to keep in mind. Thank you so much,
You're
Dr.
welcome.
Elizabeth Bruce. And thank you, Linus and Lydia, for coming into Historic Studio.
You can wake up now. Yeah.
Stick around. DelmarvaLife will be right back.
Good job here.